Hello and welcome to Mummin' It, the podcast where we chat all things parenthood. I'm Harriet Shearsmith and I am indeed mumming it in my way with my 3 kids, but I want to know what that looks like for other parents. If you like the podcast, don't forget to check out my book, also called Mummin' It, available in all good bookshops and online. Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today's guest is someone who I've been following on social media for quite a time now, and I just, when you find an account that has that vibe that is just so positive and just brings you such joy to follow, that is this lady's account. She is a choreographer, she is a Puma ambassador, and she's just an all-round absolutely amazing woman. It is Nkateko Dinwiddy. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I'm honestly so grateful for you to come and have a chat with me. And I love your social media and the way that you are so positive. Like, you make me feel really welcomed into like a world of movement. You make me want to get up and move, which, to be honest, it's not an easy thing to do. Like, I quite like my sofa, and you just really inspire me into doing that. So how did you find your love for movement and getting into all of that?
So firstly, thank you so much for the great compliment, and I'm so glad that I make you want to get up and move. My love for movement started when I was a little girl. I was that little girl who would watch music videos and try copy what they're doing because it just looked so fun, and I just wanted to be a part of that. And from a young age, my mom just tried to get me into like ballet, and I was like, nah. And then I wish I did do it now that I'm thinking about it. But by the age of 9, that's when I really started to actually train, because it was an absolute passion of mine. And my mom was just like, listen, you keep recording these videos that you see on TV. Let's just get you into class. And that's when my love for dance started. It was amazing. I started majoring in modern, hip hop, contemporary. And then I was also that girl who entered like all the dance competitions, dressed up. I just love that whole thing of dressing up and performing. And it just followed me throughout my whole life. I mean, I went to an art school and I majored in dance, and it just kept growing. And then after school, I then wanted to pursue it even more. And as I entered a competition called So You Think You Can Dance, but this is in South Africa because I'm originally from South Africa.
Yeah.
Entered So You Think You Can Dance. It was great. And I was like, I'm meant to be dancing. And I just also loved that feeling I got from a crowd when they see you like performing, I decided, because I didn't go to university, I decided to dig up some more information on how I could like expand dance. So then I went to LA. I went to the Debbie Allen Dance Academy. It was for a summer intensive. So I was there for a few months. It was amazing. And that experience was just that yes for me, that I'm meant to be moving my body. I'm meant to be doing what I'm doing. And then from then on, unfortunately, while I was in LA, I lost my dad while I was there. So I had to come back to South Africa because I was having all these plans to like live the LA dream and be this dancer in America and like change people's lives from there. But reality is I had to come back, which is okay because I believe that everything happens for a reason. So this is actually what triggered Rocking in Heels.
Yes.
So Rocking in Heels is a dance workout that I created to help women feel good about themselves, to boost their confidence. It took me losing my dad to realize that I wasn't loving myself the way I needed to. Because when I lost my dad, I completely lost myself too. I was broken. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't eating. My family was worried. I didn't see anything wrong. Because when you're in your feels, people don't see what...
Yes. Yeah.
Like what you see. But there was just this one moment when I saw my mom. She was getting ready to go somewhere, and the way she just dressed up and looked herself in the mirror, I just stuck to that feeling, and that feeling just said, get up and move. Like, get up and do something. Yes, it was a very painful time for me to lose my dad and everything. But also during that time of mourning, this is when I was conceptualizing Rocking in Heels, because I've always wanted to have like my own dance class.
Yes.
But I didn't want it to just be, let's dance and leave. I wanted it to be, let's dance, let's connect, let's grow, let's build. And this is why I came up with Rocking in Heels. And I was like, you know what? I need to help women feel better about themselves, because at that time I didn't have anyone to help me feel better. But it was that moment from my mom that picked me up. And I wanted to be that light for other women, which is crazy because I went from being a dancer to a choreographer to a dance empire creator, which is so amazing. But yeah, it's just been so amazing to see how I've just grown from being this little girl in my lounge, copying music videos, to this girl who's now dancing with amazing women. I mean, before COVID, I met so many amazing women. And yeah, now I'm just rambling because I can just talk.
No, not all. I'm loving it. This is why I've fallen in love with your accounts, because you have such positivity and such passion for what you do. And I think that's really special. And I was watching a video that you posted, I think it was a couple of weeks ago now, when you were pregnant and you were doing rocking in heels. And everything about it is just so joyful. You can see that it's done with the intention to get women to fall in love with themselves and to feel empowered and to feel beautiful. And that's what I really love, because as somebody who's never been particularly sporty or who's never thrived in kind of like a dancing environment or anything like that, like you have, I've always felt a bit like, okay, well, that's not for me, you know, and a bit pushed out of it almost. I'm not sporty, I'm not athletic. You will much more likely find me curled up on the sofa with a book than going for a jog or anything like that. And I think it's your platforms and the way that you have created Rocking in Heels and the way that you come across makes it feel really inclusive and like it's something for everyone, just to make them feel good about themselves. And I think that's what makes it really unique.
Thank you so much for that. Yes. And you know what? I love that you're saying that you would rather just chill on the couch, read a book. And you know what? That's okay. I actually love that you do that. But I also love that there's women who, like, they see women moving and they're like, oh, I want to get up. I want to try. You know, because also when we move, our bodies want to move. Our bodies are made to move. Whether it's you going for a walk, a run, or if you want to go do high intense workouts, our bodies are meant to move, which is why I wanted to find a fun way for women to do it. Because let's be honest, if we see something intense, our first thing to do is like, whoa,
it's not for me. I'm good. It's not for me. We all do it as well. You know, I will quite often be guilty of saying, oh, well, I'm not really a big exerciser. I'm not this, but put me on a dance floor and I will be on that dance floor for hours and hours, and I will be living my best life. And I think that is what people forget, that movement is actually a really natural part of us. And especially when you've had kids as well, it can be really difficult to get back into that kind of movement. And that was one of the reasons I loved seeing you doing Rocking in Heels when you were pregnant. How far along were you when you were doing those videos?
I danced till the baby dropped.
Yeah.
Our bodies are all different. And I think for me personally, I've been working out most of my life, right? If I count the dancing. So I was working out before I fell pregnant, which made it a bit easier to work out throughout my pregnancy. Yeah, but it's different for everyone. But yeah, it just makes me feel good to move. Hence why when I was pregnant, I was like, I'm still gonna go until my body tells me like, whoa, stop, you know? Because it feel good. I get so much energy from moving. People always ask me, how do you have so much energy? I'm like, because I move and I eat, you know? It just gives me the energy I need. And also just makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah. And it's not done with some kind of intention to lose weight or to look a certain way. It's done with the intention to feel good. And if that's what makes you feel good, then you've got to go with it full throttle. And I love that. So after you had baby, how did you get back into it? Because you have 2 daughters, don't you?
Yes. So I've got 2 daughters. It's Sana and Suri. Sana is 3 and Suri just turned 1. Really fun ages right now. I'm glad that they both like can walk. So they can go.
I feel that.
So with both pregnancies, it was completely different. Suri is I like to call her a COVID baby. And then Sana, obviously, I had her when everything was normal and like we had access to gyms and everything. So with my pregnancy with Sana, I was able to get moving like 3 weeks postpartum. I actually had a shoot 3 weeks after I gave birth. I know it was, had to like jump, kick, whatever, but my body was okay. But now with Suri, I took a bit more time because my body took longer to actually recover. So with her, it took me about like maybe 2 to 3 months to actually get moving comfortably. And I think, you know, it's very important for us to listen to our bodies because it's so easy to like get onto social media and see someone at the gym and be like, oh no, I need to be moving my body. But if your body is not ready to do what you see other people do, then you have to listen to what your body is telling you. So yeah, I listen to my body very carefully. That's why both pregnancies were different. But yeah, I'm happy about that as well.
How do you get the girls involved? And do you get the girls involved? I've seen you doing videos where you dance with them and they sometimes look like they're getting involved. They sometimes look like they're looking at you as if to say, Mum, what are you... How do you get them to feel the passion and the joy with you?
I literally tell them, girls, Mama needs to move her body. You can join me or you can do your own thing.
I love that.
They end up joining me. They end up joining me, which is great. And I think it's awesome because I love that they're learning to move their body from such a young age. And it's nothing that I'm forcing on them as well. So it's them wanting to try it. So why not? Let's do it. But there are times when it's really tough where, for instance, I'm still breastfeeding and Suri will want to feed while I'm like busy jumping up and down. But I'll actually stop, feed her, and carry on.
Yeah, I love that they can be a part of it and that they can join in with it. And it's something that you can do around them as well, because I think quite often when we have our babies, the thought of getting back into the gym and that kind of thing can be really daunting for women. And it can be really daunting to think about being out and moving with other people and that kind of thing. Whereas what I love about rocking in heels is that you can do it at home. You can do it with your kids, you can do it with friends, and you feel almost like you're doing things with you, almost like a Zoom kind of treatment. It's lovely. It's really great.
It is. And it's such a vibe because there's times when they're laughing and you just laugh and it's just fun, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing. Like a lot of women who want to move are always like, oh, the things I see don't excite me. So I always tell them, do something that's fun for you. I might make something look so exciting, but it might not be exciting for you because we're all different. We all like different things. But once you find something that you enjoy, to music that you love, oh, trust me, you'll be moving every day.
I love that. Going back to what you said about how your movement and everything fuels your positivity. How do you stay so positive? It can't just be the movement. I mean, you are so positive all the time, or you appear to be. How do you maintain that positivity? And especially, as you mentioned, with your youngest being a COVID baby, that must have been really difficult for you, or was it?
Yes. Oh, okay. Let me answer the first one. So when it comes to positivity, you know what? Like through the years, I've learned not to stress over things I can't control because it's so easy to get stuck and stress over things that you just can't control or can't change. And I think that's part of it. Another thing is I'm a happy person and I love being alive. I love life. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, yay, another day of life. And don't get me wrong, life is tough. It gets tough, especially with kids. There's times when my day is just horrible. However, I always try to find the positive out of it. And I think also being a mom now, my kids are watching me and I almost have this thing of I want them to appreciate life and I want them to also start learning now to see the positive out of negatives, if I can put it that way. And then also with COVID, that was tough. Just to give you a bit of a background. So I relocated from South Africa to the UK just before lockdown. So I traveled pregnant, left my family, friends, left a huge part of me. It was a really tough move for me. I mean, I have no one here. Well, I have friends, but I mean like in terms of family while I was pregnant. And I had a bit of a bumpy ride in the beginning of my pregnancy. It was so tough. And those days were tougher than I think most days that I've had. But the thing that just kept me going is Sana, my little girl, my husband, you know, like it's easy to be stuck in the whole thing of, oh, things aren't going my way, but there's always light around you. You just need to open your eyes and see it or want to see it. But it's taken me like a few years to actually get to this point. I didn't just wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be happy.
If only it could be that simple, eh? That would be really lovely. You are so right in that there is always positives that come out of negatives. There's always that silver lining. There's always something to look back on. And even after those really difficult days when, you know, the kids have been at you and something's not gone right with work and you've just absolutely exhausted, there's always something that I think you can reflect reflect on in the evening. And I have a positivity planner. It's called the Positivity Planner. And it kind of encourages you to practice gratitude and to look at the positives that have happened throughout your day, no matter how awful it's been. And that's really helped me, because I can be a really pessimistic person. I really can be. And I have to work hard to wake up and be like, okay, yes, I get another day. This is awesome. But the reality is you are waking up and getting another day. And a lot of people don't get that. It's trying to put things into perspective for yourself, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Oh, I need to check out your planner. And I love that you have this, because there's a lot of people who are going through the most, but they don't know where to start. Do people know about your planner? I didn't know about it, but now that I know about it, I would love to get it, because I always feel like there's always more to learn. We learn every day, we grow every day. So I really want to check out your planner. Where can I buy it?
It's not mine. It's not mine that I wrote. It's called the Positivity Planner. I'm trying to think who wrote it now. I'll have to check that out, who wrote it. But it comes in a yellow binder. It's really pretty. And it's just really called the Positivity Planner. But it's such a good planner. It was written because the people who wrote it were going through lots of mental health struggles, and they were finding times really difficult. I think it came out of adversity for them, and they found that they were really struggling. So they put together all of the things that they had learned that really encouraged them to change their perspective and to seek out the positive. And that's kind of how it came about, which I think is such a brilliant thing. And now it helps so many people. And that's the wonderful thing. And I think you've done something very similar with your Rocking in Heels, in that, it's helping so many people from your decision to start moving your body for joy and to create something that's totally different to what's out there.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Thank you. It's so nice to hear what you plan to do or what you are wishing for. This is great feedback. And I know that I get feedback here and there, but it's always nice to hear it. So thank you for that.
Oh, no, that's fine. It's sometimes difficult, especially when we're putting things out on social media, to see the impact that we can actually have. I very much talk to people who are perhaps plus size or who are struggling with their body confidence and that kind of thing. And it's so wonderful when you hear that you saying, okay, but are you eating and are you moving and are you happy in yourself? Then don't worry. Exactly. And to kind of encourage people to look for their health and their happiness, as opposed to trying to fit in a one size, one shape fits all, because we'll never all fit in one size or one shape.
Exactly.
And I love when people will say to me that they have found an encouragement in that, and they've then gone out and got themselves like a lovely dress or something like that they otherwise would have said, oh, that's not for me because I'm not thin enough, or that's not for me because I won't look good in it. And I want people to feel that they can be happy at any size, and they can move their body at any size, and they can eat when they're hungry and that kind of thing, without having to fall into this toxic diet culture that so many people fall into.
That's so true. Harriet, I was so happy when you did a video and you tagged me, because that's how I found your page.
Yes.
When I saw your page, I was like, yes, let's go. There's so much happiness, positivity. You are hilarious.
Thank you.
Look forward to one of your funny videos, and I just find so much joy from your page. And I also love that you're spreading that message of it's not about size. Imagine if life was just about size. What about how we feel? What about what we like? What about what makes us happy? There's so much to us than just what we look like. And I love that about your page, on top of the positivity. And I think there's people who watch that and they're like, oh my gosh, I matter. I am important. I am worthy,
Yes.
And what? I think I blame it mostly on social media and these magazines with these models. And, they've just created an idea of what perfect is. And I think that it's so dangerous, especially for little girls, young girls who are growing up, to see all that. They have access to social media. They have access to these magazines, and they're growing up thinking that's what beauty is, or that's what you should look like, So I'm so glad that we both have those positive pages to remind people that you are special just the way you are. You're unique. People will love you for you, not for what you look like.
Absolutely. And I think it's that, isn't it? People will love you for you. And I honestly firmly believe that the least interesting thing about a person is their weight. It doesn't matter. Their body size, their weight, their dress size, doesn't matter. It's so uninteresting because we are so fantastic as people and we have so much to give. And I love anything that really encourages that. That video that you mentioned as well, that really made me laugh because I saw you do, it was the one where you were ushering out the children when the doctor said, get rid of your stresses. And I was just thinking, goodness me, I relate to this so much because they are my stresses. All of them, the dog, the cat, out, all of you.
You had the cat jumping out.
Yes, the cat. I just, launched her out the door because she is the one. Yes, out. She is the one that will wake me up at like 5 o'clock every single morning because she's hungry. And I'm like, hun, I get it. I love my food too, but give me an hour or two.
Like, can I have the morning off? And that's so funny you say that because my little one, Suri, is now waking up at 5. And I'm like, what is going on? You should be sleeping till 7 because they give me until at least 7. So now 5, I'm like, hold up. And you know, like as moms, we need a break sometimes, even if it's just like 5 minutes.
Yeah, just to have a warm drink and to sit down and just take a breather.
Right.
So it's so difficult to get those moments. It's the very, very little things, I think, as a mum that build up to be huge things. It's the little moments when you don't get that break.
Little moments in the day. And it's like another one, another one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I've started doing now? Because my husband works from home.
Yeah.
I'll be like, darling, I need the bathroom. And I'll spend 5 minutes by myself in there.
My husband does this, but he will do this for like an hour. He'll be like, I'm going to the bathroom. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to see you for at least 40 minutes. Like, I know what that means. I know where you're going. I love that you've reversed it and been like, I need the bathroom. I'm just going to go and just sit there and be like, nope.
Because you know what, like, our mental health matters. We need to take that moment to breathe. Even if while we're making food, I think it's so important to breathe. And I try to tell like as much people as possible, breathing will make things better. There's times when we stress over things and sometimes we just need to breathe in and out 2 to 3 times, reset, and then let's go, you know?
Yeah. Do you practice a lot of like mindful breathing where you breathe in and you count your breathing and that kind of thing?
Oh, yes, I need to. After baby number 2, I was like Googling ways to keep calm.
Oh, I relate to that.
No, I just found that with the second baby, it was a bit of a shock in terms of like time to myself, if I can put it that way.
Yeah.
So I just looked up ways on how I could manage that stress because there's times when it can get really tough. But I've just found that with breathing, it's almost like I'm pressing a restart button. I do the one where you breathe in, hold it for 6 seconds, breathe out, and do it again, hold it for 6 seconds and breathe out. I do it 3 times and it helps me so much.
Well, that's amazing because it's something that absolutely anybody can do. Absolutely anybody has access to be able to do that and to be able to just, like you say, see if that hits the reset button for them. And it's amazing how such a tiny thing like that can really make you feel like you've hit a reset and you've given yourself just that time. And that must add up to what, 12, 18 seconds?
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
But it makes a difference for you.
It really does. Do you practice any breathing?
I'm terrible. Like my kids will back off when I've like got to the point where I like... and they tend to just back away. They're like, oh, she's going. So that's...
they know it's about that time.
They know that if mummy starts deep breathing, then everybody sort of moves away. Ever so slightly. Everybody moves away. Even the cat runs. But I think I could really benefit from that. And I do it sometimes when I'm in bed and I'm trying to relax myself. Like quite often at bedtime, I will get a really hectic mind. I read when I'm in bed. Even if I go to bed really late, I tend to read a couple of pages because it switches my brain off. But I find that bedtime is when I'll go over the things throughout the day that perhaps I didn't like if I've shouted at the kids or I've done something as a mum that I'm like, oh, you know, I feel like I've done that really wrong. And my kids will be talking to their therapist about that in 20 years' time. I overanalyze everything at bedtime. So I will quite often use breathing then to bring myself back to, okay, it's not quite that bad, Harriet. Like I said, I'm a pessimist at times. And I'll be like, it's not world ending, Harriet. Take a deep breath and just calm down. But throughout the day could really do with just doing a bit more mindful breathing. Do you get your eldest to do it as well?
Yes, I do. So when she has a tantrum, because the tantrums are quite popular right now, I try to get her to breathe, but sometimes it's hard for her to breathe. I saw a video of a lady telling her baby to blow at her. And I saw how it calmed the child. And I tried that with Sana. Works wonders.
Really? Oh, that's so
And then it
good.
turns into like a game, and then she starts laughing again. And I'm like, oh, I've got my child back. Yay.
If only I knew about this sooner. So she's 3, Sana.
Yes, she's
Yeah.
3.
So temper tantrums around about that time. I remember Edith was just feral at that point. Yeah, she could be a real handful. How are you finding temper tantrums with the baby?
They are so tough, hence why I'm breathing. There's times when, I don't know if you've seen me post on my stories, because I also want people to also know that there's this side of having kids, because apparently I make looking kids look cute or whatever. Sometimes it's really not cute. I'll let her have her moment, because I think it's important for her to feel what she's feeling. And while she's going through her feelings, I'll literally walk around with the little one and do my breathing. And then once that's done, I'll then ask her about how she's feeling. Are you feeling better now? You know, but sometimes that doesn't work because they don't want to talk, or the tantrums don't stop. And then the other one starts crying and they're both crying at you. Yeah. And then I'm like,
breathe deep.
To be honest, sometimes the breathing just doesn't cut it, and I will just have to give them a moment to finish. And also just hearing the crying and the screaming does really get tough on me, and especially personally, I'm not good with shouting and screaming, and I'm quite calm. I'm like, okay, tell me how you're feeling. Let's talk about this. How can we help you? How can I make you feel better? But it's just those days where you just want to scream.
Yeah.
So sometimes I go outside and I scream, and I'm like, and I feel better.
Do you know, with what you're saying there about in their feelings, and you let them process their feelings, I think that we forget as adults that their feelings are really chaotic as children. And I remember Toby, he's my middle child, he's 8 now, but when he was at preschool, he was such a calm child at preschool. And then when he would go like, boom, he would have this massive temper tantrum. It would be with me. And I remember once it was over Wellington boots, wellies, and I didn't bring his wellies home. And I was heavily pregnant with Edith. And I was like, no, mummy's leaving them. So he was 2. I left them at preschool, and he was not happy about it. And I said to him at the time, I'm not bringing them. You're back tomorrow. You will need them tomorrow because it's England and it's raining, and you will need them. I'm going to leave them there because it's one less thing for me to carry. And he just went mad, and he was so distraught. And the more that everybody tried to calm him down, the more distraught he got, because he wasn't just feeling his feelings and being able to kind of have that massive blowout that he really obviously needed. And I think children as well, they save those kind of feelings up for when they feel safe and when they're at home. So if anybody's listening to this and going through the temper tantrum phase, I suppose your kids are doing it at home with you and not at nursery because they feel safe with you. So take it as a compliment. It doesn't feel like one at the time, but take it as a compliment. And I got him into the car seat, and he was kicking and he was flailing his arms, and he was just so overcome with emotion. And eventually I got him home and I sat him down on a cushioned area and was like, look, I'm here. I want you to try and calm down. And if you can't, that is fine, but I am here and you are safe. Exactly. And that was it. And he screamed himself into sleep because he was so, I was like, woo, wonderful. But he was so overcome, and there was nothing in that particular time that anyone could do that could calm him down. And I think sometimes as adults, it's stepping back and going, you know what, we have our feelings, but we can kind of, through years of feeling them, understand them to a degree. With a toddler having a temper tantrum, like you say, sometimes they just don't stop and they just keep going. And that's okay that they keep going, they feel their feelings, and eventually it will fizzle out, and then is the time for which you can be like, what the hell, dude?
Like, when they're done, you're like, but what was that?
What was the need? I mean, why? And they don't even know themselves half the time. This is the best of it. They don't even know. They're like, I don't know.
I always ask my little one, and I'm always like, because I try to ask her so I understand how she's feeling. Because sometimes, like you're saying, they can't say like, I'm upset because you left my wellies.
Right? They can't vocalize it.
Exactly. They just want to scream it out. After they scream, I'm always just curious to see what they're going to say. I'm like, so what was the matter? What made you so upset? And sometimes she'll be like, oh, I forgot. I'm like, okay.
You've just given me really high blood pressure and absolutely shattered my morning. But yeah, by all means, you forget. It's fine.
Right?
It's
but I
fine.
also think it's such an important lesson for moms to also just feel. Like feel, shake it out, scream, just do what you need to do to feel it out. I feel like kids teach us so much, or they just remind us of so many things. I mean, because obviously we've gone through what they've gone through, but we forget a lot of the things. So I've learned so much from my little ones, and I'm sure you have too.
Absolutely. And you become conditioned, don't you? Because it's not socially acceptable for us to just throw ourselves on the floor in Tesco. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could? I mean, there'd be an awful lot of adults on the floor, I think. But
or kicking and
or kicking and screaming. But you are quite right. And like you said before, sometimes you will just take yourself outside and you will scream. And I used to scream into a pillow. And sometimes to just have that release can be really powerful for mums, and to feel that it's okay, whatever you are feeling, however angry you are, however frustrated, however upset, that's okay to feel your feelings. It's how you process them and that kind of thing that makes a huge difference.
No, definitely. I love this conversation because I feel like I'm out with the girls. I haven't been out in a while. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
but it's so refreshing to have a conversation about like things we're both passionate about.
Yeah.
I think what you have going on here is so amazing for moms, because you yourself have created a safe space for moms to come and listen, to hear all these things, to know that it's okay to do things the way you want to do them, or it's okay to mom the way you do. And I love your mumming it. Like, we're all mumming it differently.
Yeah,
right?
we are. And that was the one thing that I really wanted to do with the podcast, because I've always said I'm mumming it in my way, but I want to know how everybody else is doing things, because the world is filled with so many different ways to do things. When I was pregnant and I used to work in retail in mother care, you would see time after time after time, women would come in and they would pick up these pregnancy books and it would tell them exactly what to expect and exactly how things would go. And then they would come in for the toddler books. This is how it should be happening. And this is the milestone. And yet there's never actually one size fits all for parenting, because we're all individuals living with other individuals. I have 3 children now, and they are 10, 8, and 6. And my boys in particular have had exactly the same upbringing, and they're totally different. They couldn't be more different. And my husband is so different to his brother, and I'm so different to my husband. And I think this attitude that parenting can be done in one way and there's a right and a wrong way is just really sucky, because we're so different and we can all learn different things from each other. And I love that.
No, definitely. And you're right. You know, it puts so much pressure on moms, especially if you're doing it for the first time. Imagine reading how you should be feeding your toddler, and then your toddler doesn't want to eat that way. And then you freak out because you feel like you're doing something wrong because a book said so, you know, which is why I think it's so important for people to know that it's normal that we're all different. It's okay. We need to embrace it. It's actually a beautiful thing. And like you're saying, yes, we can learn different things from each other. We come together, we have conversations like this. And I think we also need to normalize having honest conversations. And creating the safe space of people having different feelings about it, you know? So yeah, I just think it's just important that we just need to surround ourselves with different people. Sorry, that's my little one.
No, that's fine. This is what podcasting on Zoom is like, though, you know? I'm amazed that my dog hasn't barked halfway through. This is just normal life.
How crazy is it? We hear a sound and we're like, what was that? Being a mom.
It is. That's the reality of it. You know, they interrupt, they join in, they get involved. I think that's fine, you know? But you mentioned that you moved across did you say during your pregnancy?
Yes, during my second pregnancy. I moved from South Africa to here. We relocated. Because my husband got a job at the side.
How have you found that experience? So how have you found coming across and almost going through parenthood again? I suppose, was it almost like relearning and doing it all again for the first time because it was such different circumstances?
You know what? It was a shock to my system. I will never forget this move. It was a shock to my system because I had to get used to a completely new country, new people, just new vibes, while trying to figure out being a mom for the second time and having 2 kids, while also trying to juggle running a business and trying to shoot content and be this digital content creator. And, you know, it was just so much. And also being a wife, it was so hectic for me. I think what helped me, thank goodness for phones and, you know, Zoom.
Yes.
I was on the phone with my mom a lot. So she would help me like just feel better about myself. And she just always let me know that, listen, you are going through change. It's okay. Because I haven't gone through a massive change in a while. But just remembering that it's okay when we go through certain things, change sometimes is tough, you know, and that's something I took very lightly. I just thought, okay, cool, I'm moving. I'll still speak to people back home, you know, but it wasn't just that. And I had to really work hard to see how I was going to balance everything. I tried to plan it out, like having times and anything. That didn't work. So I just went with the flow. And then everything just worked out the way it just needed to work out. But it was really, really, really tough. But I'm starting to get used to the UK now, except for the weather. I don't think anyone can really get used to the weather because in South Africa, it's so warm. If it's summer, it's summer, like hot. And here, if it's summer, it's cold. It's rainy.
I mean, we are not renowned for our weather. Or we are, but not in a positive way. I'm looking outside right now and it is just, I'm in North Yorkshire, so I'm right up the other end away from London, and it's just bucketing it down. It's really raining. It's cold. It's wet. I know my kids went in their summer gear to school today because summer, and it's just not summer. I think we've had our summer, like we had 2 weeks, so that was kind of good going.
Yeah, it was a good 2 weeks.
That's all we're getting.
No,
as soon as we make our peace.
Exactly. And we have to do things to just pretend it's sunny and brighten up our day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I hear they're selling sunshine lamps now, so.
Oh, I need one.
Me too.
I've really embraced the change. You know, like I always try to find the positive. I love that I have something new to look forward to. I had to get used to going out, taking trains this side. You know, it was just new and exciting. But now I'm starting to love it. I love it here.
Good. That's really cool to hear. And I love that you've embraced it and that despite all of these changes, I think you're absolutely right in what you say about how we all go through changes and that change is okay. But I don't know anybody who doesn't find change scary. And the biggest change of all is becoming a parent, isn't it? It's such a huge lifestyle change. And I think we definitely underestimate the impact that change can have on us, but also the benefit of kind of going with the flow with it and allowing it to wash over us.
Yeah. And I think also I used to follow pages that just made everything look perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect, and that perfect was normal. And I think it just made certain things look a certain way. And then when it happened to you, you were like, what?
They are wrong.
They didn't make it look like that. Like, what am I doing wrong? It's just so important to make sure that you just watch what you follow, watch who you watching all the time, just watch what you consume, because it can make you really second guess yourself or think the world is a certain way when it's really not. It's so easy to see like a mom sitting so nicely, makeup, the child here looks perfect, matching outfit, smiling. I mean, that looks like perfect parenthood, right?
Yeah. And it's not real. It's a snippet of someone's day. And what I love about social media is that you can curate your feeds and that you can find your tribe and that you can look beyond the perfect. And I don't think anybody has this constant 24/7 perfect parenthood. And it shouldn't be like that. So if you find that overwhelming, then it's really important to curate your feed to bring you positivity. And that was a huge part of me coming away from being someone who was very stuck in being obsessed with weight and being obsessed with looks and being obsessed with dieting to becoming a much more happy and confident person that I am now, was that I looked at my social media and went, okay, what am I following that instantly makes me conscious of what I'm eating as opposed to intuitively eating? What am I following that instantly makes me feel anxious or agitated? Let's come away from that, and what can I follow that will bring positivity into my life and that will bring me some happiness?
Yeah, exactly. I actually, funny enough, also used to be so stuck in, I need rock hard abs. I need to look a certain way. My waist needs to, you know, like, because that's what we saw and that's what we thought was the goal. but it just didn't serve me. It just didn't make me feel good, didn't make me feel whole. So I just reevaluated myself, took it back to what makes me happy. What do I love doing? What am I interested in, as opposed to what do I look like?
Yes.
What should I look like?
It's asking yourself, isn't it? What am I interested in? Who am I? And what do I love? And that kind of thing. And thinking along those lines, that's huge.
It is. What do I want to learn more about? What kind of people do I want to meet or, get to know? Life is all about that. That's why we're here. We're not here to look a certain way. We're here to experience life.
Absolutely. 100%. So at the end of every podcast, I ask for one mum hack that has carried you through, and it can literally be anything. A life hack, a mum hack. It can be travel, it can be home, it can be food, it can be related to your dancing, it can be anything. So if you had to give a mum friend one mum hack, what would it be?
Dance it off. Always, whether you're happy, whether you're sad, dance it off. Celebrate yourself. Just dance it off and celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself feeling what you're feeling. Celebrate yourself feeling happy and just dance it off. That's my mum hack.
I love that. That is brilliant. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me today. I've absolutely loved chatting. Let people know where they can find you and where they can find your content.
Guys, okay, cool. So you can find me on all social media platforms at Takkies7. That's TAKKIES 7, and you can check out Rocking in Heels, which is ROCKINGNHEELS. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. You are so awesome.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.